Hi, my name's Christian. I am 23 years old, and I think I want to get into the content creation world in some capacity. I don't necessarily know if that's going to be tailored more towards YouTube or kind of more short form content in terms of like a TikTok or the Reel department. I just know that I graduated college last year and I'm a year into my professional career, and I'm not necessarily, I'm not necessarily happy. I'm not content on a day-to-day basis. That's nothing to do with, my employer. They've been great. They allowed me to transfer and relocate to Idaho, where I'm at right now, and I'm actually on the verge of relocating to my hometown, all through the same company. I've gone from Seattle to Idaho, back to my hometown. So nothing on that at all. I think it's more just really been a personal thing, kind of as just a little bit of context. I knew I always wanted to go to college. School was always a thing for me. I never disliked it. I always enjoyed it, and I was, pretty good at it. I was decent at it. I was really good at it when I was a little kid, elementary school. A little bit still kind of there, middle school, high school. I would still try. You know what I mean? I was never a bad student. I had a fairly high GPA when I graduated. Um, and then I still enjoyed it in college, maybe not necessarily to the fullest extent as before. I was also a business major, so make of that what you will with the classes and the workload. I want to refrain from doing ums, so I'm going to try to not to do ums. I took a public speaking class around this time last year. I was in one, and a big thing for me was always fillers. Like, so I'm going to try not to. Maybe not be the easiest thing. I might be doing a lot of pauses because of that, but I also do want to gradually kind of get better as far as just my overall presentation, my overall day to day. I'm going to stop right here. That fire alarm that you're hearing, I don't know where that's coming from. It's been a thing since I moved in here in June last year. It's not the one in my room, because the one in my room has no battery, and it's like I twisted it so that it's just hanging. So there's nothing in that one. I feel like I hear it the most prominent in my room, but it makes no sense to me because there's no way it should be working. And I was able to reach mine because I got on top of the bed. Damn, I did it. I did it right there because I got on top of the bed and I did that. But the one that I think it maybe could be is the one in the hallway, and it's not the most wide. It's kind of relatively narrow, and I don't have a ladder, and I move in like 2 weeks, so I'm not going to go get a ladder or some sort of step stool because I find it pointless. I'm going to be just packing my car, and I'm not going to plan and do all that for a step stool. Anyways, I don't know if anyone's going to be paying attention, or kind of if I'm keeping their attention, or maybe you're already gone by now and I'm just talking to myself, which is fine because I don't necessarily know what I want to cater to or what I want to do. I feel like I have quite a few different interests, but don't necessarily know if there's anything that I want to tackle. I don't really know if there's anyone that's like, in the creation aspect of being in multiple sort of different communities. And by that I mean I'm a wrestling fan. I like WWE. The video that I've uploaded, I did it like a month ago. It was my WrestleMania predictions. 4 views, which is fine. Which is fine because I don't necessarily know if this is going to be anything. However, that's one thing that I want to do, but I know that's not for everyone. Kind of, it's a big thing in the internet, and they always have sold out shows, but I don't really know a lot of people that follow it. So I'm like, whoa, kind of, how are you guys doing all that? I like soccer. I like playing soccer. I kind of enjoy watching it. Sometimes it's kind of like, I feel like I'd rather do something else. But one thing that I do want to get into, and I think I want to get into it more than any other place, is coaching soccer. This is not to say I'm going to be out there being Guardiola, Jose Mourinho. No, I don't even know if it's going to be anything that I'm particularly good at. However, I've always enjoyed kind of just, coaching, teaching, instructing, as well as just being a student. I'll be a student of the game. I'm a student of life. So maybe that's something that I do as far as coaching sessions or kind of just my path to get there. I don't necessarily know what it looks like. My plan was just going to go to the YMCA and then kind of get a gauge from it there because I would play in YMCA leagues, obviously in that same town. That's my hometown. So that's something that I would maybe want to do. I also want to get back into playing. I played middle school, a little bit in high school. I played more so high school, like in the summer for fun. Never played for school. I was pretty crap. I'm not going to lie to you. Ooh, I'm not going to lie to you. But that's kind of just where everything's at right now. A little bit of soccer coaching, playing journey, a little bit of maybe WWE. I kind of don't think more so that one. I might put that one more on the back burner, but it's an option there should I want to proceed with it. And another one is I love the idea of being in front or honestly, even for me, behind the camera in terms of just, creating anything. Really, like a picture that you take, a video that you take, I see it as art. Whether it's, this glamorous, glorious, beautiful thing, or you just, a picture that you took of a bird flying by and it comes out really, really, blurry, out of focus. There was an attempt there, and now with live features, you can kind of see the movement and whatnot. In front of the camera, not necessarily the most comfortable. I can do it right now when I'm in my room alone. There isn't even anyone at the apartment, so that's why I'm being loud and whatever. I had a couple of test trials where I was just, trying it with the mic, without the mic, different Zoom features and whatnot. I don't want to say that's why I'm wanting to pause. So needless to say, what am I trying to say? This is going to sound, I don't know how this is going to sound, but this has just been a thought for me for the longest time. Like I said, I'm 23. There's people out there that are in this content creation, social media kind of aspect of the world who are my age, a little bit older than me, honestly, some even younger than me. And I'm looking at the IShowSpeeds of the world, who I think is like 20 or 21. And I'm like, bro, you have so much money. You've met so many people. And I'm just like, all that stems from is doing exactly what I'm doing right now, just being in front of a camera. Sometimes people put on a facade, a character. Sometimes people are just themselves, and that's what gets the job done. I particularly think I'm going to be more of the let me be myself and just see how that goes. I don't necessarily want to do a whole kind of character just for the sake of, eyes on me and whatnot. The first of these sort of my own kind of creations or publications posts is going to go live relatively soon, at least as while I'm recording this. It's Tuesday the 27th. I think as soon as I'm done doing this, I'm just going to go to editing what I recorded yesterday. So I'm filming everything on a DJI Osmo Pocket 3. Bought that a couple months ago. TikTok very much so influenced me. I saw a lot of reviews. I was back and forth about it for a couple weeks, and then at one point I just pulled the trigger and I said, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna get it. So now the way I'm seeing it for myself, and hopefully I'm not tapping too much that it's picking up, the way I'm seeing it for myself is every single use that I make of this is just making it more worthwhile for the price that it was. Because it was a relatively steep price. So I kind of want to just keep using it more and more and more. That's not to say I'm just going to do some throwaway stuff. I went to BUC yesterday. That's one of the local colleges here in my place of living, where I live. Sometimes I speak really weird like that. I'm relatively young, but you might think I'm like 45 off of how I speak. Don't necessarily know why. I guess that's a thing, but you'll get to see more of that, hopefully. It wasn't necessarily a vlog. There was like 2 clips of me speaking to, I guess, the camera, but the rest of it is just facing the other way. And I more so wanted to get more like nature shots. The things that I was seeing on TikTok as far as the DJI is it always just looked really nice, and I took a look at all the things that I recorded from yesterday. I will say pictures, but when it comes to video, really, really great. Just seeing myself in the tiny little screen that it has, I think it looks good. And then every time that I've gone back to watch the videos, it does a good job. Even in terms of the auto-focusing. And yesterday I got to play around with the face tracker. I didn't turn it on because I didn't think it was necessary since I'm just sitting in the chair. But it also does work really, really well with any sort of front-facing autofocus, face tracking, things of that nature. This one I'm going to be posting on YouTube in the channel that I've had since I was watching YouTube, just whatever generic username they gave me. I will be uploading a picture, probably just a picture that I really enjoy, maybe most of myself. Well, yeah, I guess it should be most of myself if it is going to be my channel. But as far as everything that I recorded yesterday, I'm just going to put that on TikTok because nothing's relatively long. Everything's maybe like 30 seconds, 40 seconds, 12 seconds. So I'm just going to compile those. Well, I'm just going to edit those kind of just to cut off seconds where I was starting to record, or I'd leave a little bit of seconds at the end just for the sake of being able to cut that back towards the final CapCut editing phase. This one I'm going to upload to YouTube kind of just as is. Really kind of nothing's happening in this video, but at the same time everything's happening because you get to find out what the hell it is that, you know, this is. I don't even know what it is. I'm going to quote The Social Network because I love The Social Network. It's like you're throwing the greatest party on campus, but they say it's got to be over by 11 because you don't even know what that party is yet. You don't even know what it is yet. And that's exactly what this channel is, or at least what it is in my head right now. It's something that I'm just going to let it be for what it is. I don't necessarily want to categorize it into anything. I don't want to be, wrestling. I don't want to be, soccer. I don't want to be more vlogging lifestyle. I think that'll probably be the predominant portion, but that's not to say that that's solely what this is going to be. And I think it'll be a lot of test trials, test trials. So I'll upload like I said, my WrestleMania video, which is the biggest show of the year that should have the most eyes on it, 4 views. Again, I didn't really go out of my way to publicize that or anything. I kind of just uploaded it, and then I was hoping it would just do anything, but I'll just have to learn the algorithm and things of that nature. And obviously, a social media presence is going to be really good. It's something that I haven't had. I mean, I never really had a huge social media. I never had no motion. But I've got like 15 followers on this Insta that I made a couple months ago and like 30 TikTok followers. But the idea is just getting more eyes on this, and hopefully that leads to more people wanting to come back and just kind of seeing how everything goes. More than anything, I've just really been in this kind of internal turmoil, as far as I don't know what it is that I want to do, but I'm also not opposed to, exploring and doing things. Like I said, I've been with the same company. I guess I haven't said it, but I've been with the company that I've been with for about 2 years. We're approaching 2 years, and it's been really good. I've not once really kind of been upset or disappointed. I like the fact that I'm able to go to different parts of the country and still remain secure with a job intact and not needing to worry about moving somewhere and then not having a job, or the lack of a job preventing me from moving. I like that it's all been able to jumble together and taking me to 3 different areas, all that I've wanted to go to. I'm also just in this predicament right now on a personal level, as far as I live here in Idaho, where I don't have any family. I haven't really had the easiest time to make friends, which was a huge kind of something I didn't really expect, or something that I couldn't have known about until it happened. I had a lot of reliance on school and extracurriculars to make friends, or just to chat with people, honestly. And now, I mean, most of my time is spent in my job, since I only have 2 days off. And within that, the first couple months I would just stay home, like I wouldn't do anything. I'd just be sad and mopey. And it hasn't been until this tail end right now, ever since I've like been sure of myself that I'm going to be leaving, that I'm just like, hey, let me go explore, let me go check it out. And it's been nice, it's been fun, but it just sucks that it's always like on a solo basis. I know sometimes it's a thing, or I mean, I would even attest to it myself, like solo kind of outings, solo dates are really good for you. I 100% see that and I agree with that. But when it's all that you're doing every single time that you do go out, it kind of just really sucks. And even sometimes I've just been like, nah, I'm not going to go out because what's the point? It's just me. So I'm going to go back to my hometown. That's not to say that I have a lot of, connections or people that I still am in contact with, but at the end of the day, it's my hometown. If I see someone from, third grade, hey, let's chop it up. If I see someone, from high school, I graduated in 2020 with the COVID pandemic. So honestly, I haven't seen a lot of people since like March of 2020. So yeah, we're going on like 5.5 years. Didn't have many people on social media. So I honestly have no idea what a lot of people are up to. So I'm kind of hoping when those re-encounters do happen, maybe it can just like lead to, an acquaintance. Not even necessarily, you don't even have to be my best friend, but just, hey, how you doing? What's up? How you doing? I already said how you doing. More than anything, this is really just going to be an avenue and a path for myself to just give me something to look forward to, something that I legitimately am, excited and optimistic for, in terms of, hey, how is this video going to pan out? Or, hey, how does this idea in my head, how can I execute it in a way that it makes sense or not make sense, but it just makes it watchable and entertaining and something that people want to click on. One thing that I like, I'm going to take a lot of inspiration from things that I like watching and I like doing. One of those is I love yapping. I love yapping. I love talking. I love just asking questions, answering. I do a good job of asking questions. I don't always do the good job of answering those questions for myself. And if you've, met me in the past and we've had pretty good conversations and we've been friends, you are a first-hand witness to that. I'll ask a question. Hey, what do you think? Let me get back to you. Let me think about it. And then it's like, nah. So I just want to get better about doing that. With that, I don't know if it necessarily looks like a video kind of podcast or I'm just chatting with people. Like I said, I haven't really considered myself living in my hometown since I was 18. So we're approaching 5 years. So with that, there's just so much that I just don't know, that I missed out on, that I just don't know about people. So maybe it could be like a catch-up podcast in terms of like, hey, what is new? How you doing? What's up? How does, half a decade removed from high school, is it what you penned out? Is it what you expected it to be? Kind of things like that. Or like a mukbang. I feel like a mukbang's always chill. You can just chat, chop it up, eat some grub, whatever that is, wings, some homemade type. The biggest drawback as far as why I've never gone ahead and proceeded with any sort of creation, whether, anything of the sort, sports, wrestling, lifestyle, day to day, just honestly really been a lack of confidence, a lack of self-confidence, and a lot of anxiety that I am just now starting to see and acknowledge and kind of come to terms with. But I've been wanting to do this maybe since I was like 19 or 20, as far as just being behind the camera, being maybe in front of a camera. And I would always kind of have a little bit of pushback because I was in school and there was assignments and, yada, yada. That's not the case for me anymore. I've graduated, might go back for my master's sometime soon, might not. But I do have the time as far as being able to do what it is that I want to do. Not necessarily being confined to expectations or goals, beset on me by anyone. Everything is just all on me. So, with that, I'm going to be a lot better as far as my own personal journey to just loving myself and wanting to be the best version. And hopefully that, is something that people are willing to watch and see. One thing that I will leave off with is I'm going to be taking a trip to Seattle in June, a couple weeks from now, with some of my friends from my hometown. Hopefully we get to a point where I'm a little bit more comfortable, kind of just whipping out the camera and then just recording. Don't want to put any sort of, criteria or expectations on what that'll look like. Just honestly, just vibing with us. I've seen them in Seattle twice when they've come, and it's always been really fun. A couple times it's been that I have school, so I kind of just join them for maybe like a night or like a day and a half. And then the most recent time, I went on a whim and I bought my ticket from Idaho, and I met them Saturday night. Was there Saturday night, all day Sunday, and then I headed back here on Monday. So it's always been really quick turnarounds for me because it's never been something that I have planned, weeks ahead of time. But now everything's booked. We got an Airbnb, we got a date, we got a head count. So I think that'll be exciting. Hopefully they're okay with me sort of just putting up or, pulling out the Digi and just recording. It might just be, a 10-second clip here, 30 seconds here, but obviously it'll just all be edited and compiled into one watchable video as opposed to a bunch of small form content. Anyways, that will be all that I have for you guys today. A little bit about the channel, a little bit about kind of just context in regards to me as far as what you can expect. So with that, kind of expect a little bit of a lot of things, I guess you could say. I'll at least be finding my footing in the first little bit of time that I'm actually active with recording and editing and posting. I'll see what people like to see, what I like to do. If it's something that maybe people like it, but I don't particularly enjoy it, it might be something that seldom happens. It might be something that I never revisit. Or it might be something that I really enjoy doing. Like maybe I really like doing the WWE content, but people just don't care for it. Okay. This for sure is the final farewell. If you've made it this far into this random video where I'm kind of just spewing out my thoughts and everything that's in my head, thank you very much. I honestly really do appreciate it. I didn't have a script. I didn't have any sort of kind of bullet points in my head. Sometimes I talk to myself when I'm just walking around or doing day-to-day. So I had things that I wanted to say. I don't necessarily think I went with anything, but it really was kind of just to show this is just going to be really, really raw. I don't necessarily want to be very, confined to well, this is what I wrote and this is what I said I was going to say. I'm just going to let it be for what it is. Let it be for what it is. Like I said, you don't know what this is yet. And I don't want anyone telling me that my party's got to end at 11 because I don't know what it is. Anyways, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate it if you have made it this far. Again, my name is Christian. You've all been amazing. Thank you very much. And I will see you very soon. Very soon.